In today's society, it's very prevalent. Racism is very prevalent.
Terry Day's 6-year-old daughter Rosa is a first grader at Hamilton Elementary in Sanford. Monday, her teacher sent home a spelling list with students that contained a racial slur. This is how the word was supposed to read, bigger, but instead the word began with the letter N.
My daughter said to me, she said, I know that word and I know what that word means. She said, but does this supposed to be on my paper?
She went to speak with the teacher.
And I said, well, you didn't spell check your word, you didn't proofread your word before you sent it out? And she said, well, it is a word. Okay, I didn't like the attitude behind that one.
Here's how the teacher explained the mistake to school administrators. She pointed to the keyboard where the B and the N are right next to each other. She says she accidentally typed the N instead of the B. A school spokesman told WESH 2 Investigates the district is aware of the unintentional and unfortunate mistake. A memo has gone home with students sincerely apologizing for the error. But that's not how the memo reads. The teacher wrote, please throw the blue list away and refer to this list for the next 6 weeks. I apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. There is no mention of the misspelled word creating a racial slur.
She wasn't sorry, wasn't apologizing. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, I will remove this. No, it wasn't like that.
Terry thinks the teacher owes her students and their parents an apology. In Seminole County.
Yo, YouTube, what's going on? Trey back again, hit you with a video. This video comes out of Florida by way of Sanford, if you will, but we have a mom who's highly pissed at Hamilton Elementary School for basically putting the N-word on their daughter homework study sheet, if you will. Now the teacher, as the newscaster and the news people went and interviewed and stuff and got a response from the teacher said that it was a classic mistake where the B and the N on the keyboard, and if you look down on your keyboard, the B and the N is right there beside each other. Now, is that a legitimate excuse, or what is she's being truthful? You know, it's hard to say because you really can't say what people's intention is, but you being a teacher and you want to make sure that your kids have the right curriculum that they need, and in order for them to know certain words and pronounce certain words, you cannot have any errors in your spelling. So I don't understand. I'm just being objective right now. I don't understand why the teacher didn't go back and proofread, exactly what it was that she typed down, the words that she wanted the kids to study. Seemed like that would be the most logical thing. For instance, real quick before I read the snippet from the story, well, you have a list of a couple S's. Okay, you might have story, you might have scoot, then you might have shoot, you know, and you don't want shoot in there because you don't want to tell kids, you know, put that in mind, shoot. So what would you do if you go back in there and you type up all these different words? You go back and look over the list, make sure everything is pronunciated right, written right, and correct spelling. You will see that. So I don't know if the teacher didn't go back and proofread what she had typed up and wrote before she passed this work out to the students, but it caused a huge uproar in the community, and it's understandable, you know, due to the climate that our country is in right now. And I'm speaking for America. I can only speak for America. I can't speak for nowhere else in the world. But due to the climate that we have in our country, where we have this ever prevalent racism going on, so I understand both parties, but I'm not saying that the teacher did it intentionally, and I'm not saying that she didn't do it. You know, that's up for speculation. That's up for you to decide, you the viewer. But I'm gonna read a snippet from this story, and I'll give my opinion surely as we go. Parents' fury after first grade teacher's N-word typo on homework assignment. Leaves the school apologizing only for the inconvenience it caused. A first grade teacher at Hamilton Elementary School in Sanford, Florida, sent home an assignment that spelled nigger instead of the word bigger. My daughter said to me, she said, I know that word and I know what that word means, but is this supposed to be on my paper? Terry Day told WESH 2. When Day asked the teacher about the mistake, she claims the educator responded, it is a word. So if she would have gave me a response like that, you know what I'm saying, it would have been some furniture moving that day. I'm just like, because I would have been like, how dare you sit up in here and put this word on the sheet, and you knowing damn well what it means. Then I come to you in humbleness, trying to see if you really had the intent to be racist, or did you just make a classic mistake? That's all. But this is how people would do you sometimes. You know, number one, I don't know if it's pride, or maybe the woman is racist. Who knows? I don't know the teacher. But all I'm saying is, somebody come to you and with an issue, a legitimate issue, something that you did, whether you did it on purpose or whether you did it by mistake, you know, you should correct that. But for this teacher to say it is a word, like, you know, like nigga is a word, we know it's a word, and so is a lot of other words that we can use to be racist toward other races of people. But we're not going to do that because it's not, an eye for an eye, a stone for stone, if you will. It's trying to get down to the matter. Was it a mistake or not? And from that response, when the teacher said it is a word, that kind of insinuates to me that she meant what she said, if you will. Now, the teacher explained with the B and the N right next to each other, she accidentally typed the letter when she meant to spell bigger. Okay, but don't you go back and proofread your work, and don't you also tell your students in their class to go back and proofread their work? I mean, that's all of the characteristics of being a teacher, right? Making sure they study and proofread. So if you're the one telling your students this, shouldn't you do like Barry White and practice what you preach? That's what I think right there. Now, a teacher in Florida has angered parents after making a typo on a homework assignment that spelled a racial slur and then gave a lackluster apology for the inconvenience. A first grade teacher at Hamilton Elementary School in Sanford, Florida, sent home an assignment that used nigger instead of the word bigger. And when Terry Day's 6-year-old daughter, Rosa, came home from school, she didn't know what to think. I wouldn't have neither. Now, my daughter said to me, she said, I know that word and I know what that word means, but is this supposed to be on my paper? Day told the news station. Now, Day spoke with the teacher at the school and wasn't impressed with the response she received from the teacher, as I said earlier. She said, I said, well, you didn't spell check your word. You didn't proofread your word before you sent that out. And the teacher said it is a word, and I didn't like that attitude behind that one, they said. So the teacher was trying to really be smart. But this goes to show you how people would try to do you and try to play you. And that's why I'm glad that this woman, because maybe she was going to give them a chance to clean it up, because there's no sense to run to the news station when, people are entitled to mistakes. Even in this situation, we're going to just say if the woman didn't proofread, if she didn't go back and spell check or anything, humans, we are prone to mistakes. I understand that. But anytime somebody come to you and address the situation with you and you get a smart ass attitude with them and a smart ass response, you got to do what you got to do. Now, I'm not saying in this situation to be violent, though a lot of you all would have gotten violent, and that's understandable. But it's good that this woman then decided to go to the news station. Like, okay, I tried to make it right. I tried to make amends, but you try to make a fool out of me like I'm not about that life. And the mom had to show him what time it was. Now, the teacher explained that with the B and N right next to each other on the keyboard, she accidentally typed the letter when she meant to spell bigger. Okay, we'll give you that one. But what was the excuse for your attitude in the response that you gave when you said that nigga is a word? We know it's a word. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, so are a lot of other racist words. And shouldn't you go back and proofread that? And this is not the first story that came out of Florida like that. Matter of fact, you can look for about 2 or 3 stories like this every month to come out of Florida. And when I was young, I didn't think Florida, was all that bad, because I was like, well, that's a good state. I'm not saying that it's not. I'm just saying from what I, thought, what I perceived as a child, just like we all perceive a lot of things as a child. I didn't know that it was this much racism in Florida, but come to find out, it's racism everywhere. A lot of it is hidden and subtle. Now, a school spokesman, Michael Lawrence, said in a statement, the district is aware of the unintentional and unfortunate mistake regarding the typo on the spelling words worksheet. The teacher involved has taught at Hamilton Elementary for many years and is extremely remorseful about the situation. Pause. If she is remorseful, then why wouldn't she tell the mom that? Why wouldn't she tell the mom that was offended that? Because I'm sure no white kids' parents went up to the school and asked them why was that on there. And I'm not trying to make it a black or white issue. I'm just pointing out the fact. Why didn't nobody else go up there and address the issue? And then when the teacher had a chance to make it right, the teacher didn't make it right. So for this guy, Michael Lawrence, the school spokesman, to sit up here and say the teacher is very remorseful, when it was time to be remorseful, you weren't remorseful. That's just like you go kill somebody's parents or whatever, and you in a courtroom and you laughing and you giggling, but then when you get to your jail cell, you crying and you remorseful. Oh, it's a time and a place for everything. So I don't know who Michael Lawrence think he's talking to, but people is not as dumb as you would claim or think them to be. Now, the school has already fixed and updated the spelling words list and redistributed to the students in that particular class. In addition, a memo has gone home with students sincerely apologizing for the error. Okay, well, thank you. That shows that you are trying to clean it up, even though a lot of people don't clean up their act until they are forced to, or until they get backed up in a corner or exposed. In this case, exposed. Then you can't help but make it right. But remorse wasn't the reaction Day said the teacher conveyed in a memo she sent home to the parents. Dear parents, please be advised there was a misspelled word on the blue spelling list I sent home yesterday, the memo states. Please throw the blue list away and refer to this list for the next 6 weeks. I apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. Please contact me if you have any concerns. Now, but the memo doesn't mention the misspelled word, which further angered the mom. Okay, you gonna just jump over the whole fact about this racist word that's causing many of people to get their ass whooped today. Oh yes, you know I'm gonna keep it real. Causing many of people to get their ass whooped, hulled out. And if you don't know what hulled out means, ask some of my people from Texas. They'll tell you what it means. You know, it's causing all kinds of problems. So you didn't want to address the main situation of the fact due to you could explain to the parents I made an error. I didn't proofread what I sent out, you know, and this is what caused all this, and this is what you should do. You know, how you just gonna, you know, skip over that fact right there? You know, you gonna go from the main most important thing, not even mention that, but you're gonna mention everything else. That is crazy right there. So that goes to show you, evidently, this teacher sound like she had some underlying racial issues to deal with herself. Inconvenience means sorry for the bother. So I mean, it was not apologetic. It was not sorry. Even when I met her with her in person, the mom said she wasn't sorry, wasn't apologetic. That's why when the mom went to the school and the mom asked her about it, and she said, nigga, oh, it's still a word, even though the word was supposed to be bigger, instead of her trying to humble herself then, you know. So evidently this teacher is a hell of a firecracker, if you know what I mean right there. Sometimes you got to put that ass out. The woman wasn't unapologetic like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I would have removed this. No, it wasn't like that, they added. And that's where the problem come in there right there. And that's why the woman went to the news station, and rightfully so, because if you go to the school and you go to the teacher and they don't want to solve it, the next best thing is to go to the media, and people gonna respect the media, because you don't want the media to get on you. They gonna clown you, make look like a fool. You know, when you have about 10,000 videos coming out a day about you, and you in your school and whoever these principal is and people that's over this, you know, you're going to clean up your act, or you're going to get the hell out of Dodge, like they say. Now, Day doesn't feel that the teacher should be punished. Her daughter likes the teacher, and Day genuinely believes that it was a mistake, but felt an apology was due. Rightfully so. If somebody come to you and say, look, I feel offended by this word, and you knowing you made a mistake, you know, clean that up. It wouldn't have been no different if it was a black teacher and she mistakenly wrote the word, instead of writing tracker, she wrote cracker. It wouldn't have been no difference. And the white mom or dad would have came to the school, look, we feel offended by this word, can you make this right? You know, because sometimes people understand better when you put it to where it affects them. You know, if it don't affect people, a lot of times they don't want to conceive it in their mind. So that's why I use that illustration right there. If it was a white parent, if it's a white mom and dad, in some kind of way, instead of the word being tracker, it was cracker. You know, I'm sure they would go up to the damn school. It depends on how it was spelled, because there is crackers, you know. I'm talking about saltines in a box, you know. So I don't understand what it is why people cannot humble themselves and admit when they were wrong. If you're wrong, you're wrong, and just move on. Just make it right and move on. But evidently, the teacher must seem like some kind of good teacher, because the daughter evidently like her. And, you know, and just like a lot of us when we was young, we liked our teachers also, you know, until we realized, you know, some of the stuff when we got older. So, you know, I can't go in no further on that part, because I'm not in the school. I don't know. But the mom said that bothered me. I was very offended by it. They exerted. In today's society, it's very prevalent. Racism is very prevalent. The Seminole County School District said a teacher who has been working in the district for more than 16 years will likely not be punished. Let me know what you all think about this situation right here. And the whole point is, on your keyboard, the B and the N is beside each other. Okay, you proofread, you spell check. And then if you still make a mistake and you don't catch your mistake, because a lot of time we proofread and we spell check, because we're human, we're entitled to mistakes, we're prone to mistakes. If somebody come back and say, well, this is wrong, that's wrong, you supposed to be grown enough and have enough respect for your profession, because she is a teacher, to know, okay, look, I made a mistake, I will make that right. Not to sit up here and say, well, that is a word, even though it's a very racial word, and nobody don't want their first graders, second grader, third graders having to experience that right there, because that's going to cause a huge lot of problems. Because first thing you're going to have in class, kids going to start acting out and saying these words. Let me know what you all think about this situation right here. If you like this video, push that like button. If you like, subscribe. Till next time, y'all stay blessed, and make sure when your children be at school, you keep up with their work, you keep up with their assignments, you keep up with their day-to-day activities, because in this day and age, it's no telling what they trying to push on these children. I'm out.